With temperatures expected to hit 98 degrees today, state officials are reminding employers to protect workers in this extreme heat. We'll tell you what protocols need to be followed.
We will not restore power to that section of line until our crews have gone out to actually inspect it to make sure it is actually safe.
Plus, PGE ramping up its efforts to reduce the risk of wildfires, why they say power lines play a key part.
And we're also covering this morning. Chalk art. Oh, we getting a wave? Nice. Hello, artists. Welcome to Wednesday. Man, these two have been at it since 5 o'clock this morning, getting us ready for a big chalk art festival in downtown Hillsborough this weekend. All the details on that coming up as we kick off the streaming hour of Sunrise live here at 7 o'clock.
Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. Top story again today is the weather. That's why Chris McGinnis is ready to rock and roll for us here in the Weather Center. Chris, let's talk about just how hot we expect it to be today.
We think 98, and if we get there, which we're pretty sure we will, that's our forecast, right? That will make today the hottest day of the year thus far. We're off and rolling, 68 degrees last check at PDX. The freezing level, by the way, this is from the balloon launch at Salem early this morning. The freezing level is nearly at 16,200 feet. It's higher than it was yesterday. What does that mean? That means the air above us is warmer than it was yesterday. And you're going to notice that when you step outside this morning, that down here where the rest of us are, it is warmer than yesterday. Heat advisory remains in effect through 10 o'clock for all of the areas shaded in orange, up and down the I-5 corridor, basically from the Canadian border south of Eugene, the entire Willamette Valley, portions of the Columbia River Gorge, and the lower Columbia as well, out towards Cowlitz and portions of Columbia County. Heat risks today, certainly in the afternoon, right, with high temperatures of 95 to 100. Just do what you can to limit your exertion. Again, it's just, that said, the hottest day of the year so far, we think. Upper 80s by lunchtime, and then we're into the 90s. I think PDX gets to 90 by about 1 o'clock, and then we're on our way to a high of about 98 degrees before we realize some slightly cooler temperatures tomorrow. But boy, it is going to be a hot one out there today, Thomas.
Yeah, it's going to be a really hot one, and because of that heat, state officials are reminding employers to protect their workers against heat illness. State law regulates that these workers are able to get adequate amounts of water, shade, and rest throughout the day when the heat index hits 80 degrees, with more precautions kicking in once we reach 90. Workers are advised to know their rights and speak up if they're not feeling well.
The risks are too high. It's absolutely critical that people say something, and if they're not feeling well, report it to the supervisor so that they can take the rest they need in shade and possibly receive the medical care that they need.
And even if you aren't working in the heat all day, Portland metro counties are urging people to drink plenty of water, avoid sugary drinks and alcohol today. It's also important to check on neighbors, family, and friends, particularly those people who are living alone and maybe seniors as well. Those are people who are vulnerable, or if you don't have air conditioning. Now, the Oregon Department of Emergency Management is also urging people to be precautious on a day like today where it is so hot. They say oftentimes people underestimate the heat that we're going to see today. They remind people as well that today, with this heat possibly hitting 98 degrees, to be cognizant for signs of heat exhaustion or, guys, even heat stroke. Back to you.
Thomas Schultz live in downtown. Thomas, any chance that we might see Tank Top Tommy when you bring us this report in the 8 o'clock hour? It is getting hot out there, Thomas.
Drew, it's getting hot, and you can see it's getting sunny out here as well. So look, we're enjoying the temperatures while we got them, but again, as the day goes on, it's only getting hotter up here.
Yeah. All right. Thomas Schultz will have more for us coming up in our 8 o'clock hour. We want to remind you, though, we do have a full list of cooling centers and open fountains all around the Portland area available at KGW.com. If you text that word cool to the number on your screen, 503-226-5088, we will text you back with a link to that list on our website.
We're keeping a close eye on the Cram fire burning northeast of Madras. It has since grown to more than 40,000 acres that is still 0% contained. This is a time lapse of the fire from last night. Oregon Governor Tina Kotek has greenlit more resources to help fight the fire as task forces from outside Jefferson and Washoe counties are on the way. Roughly 300 people. They're now under level 3 go now evacuation zone that is in red on this map. Those evacuation covers part of both Jefferson and Washoe counties and are getting close to the town of Madras as well as both sides of Highway 97.
Meanwhile, the first phase of cleanup is underway following last month's Rowena fire in the gorge west of the Dalles. This fire destroyed nearly 60 homes in the area. It also burned almost 4,000 acres. A task force is currently working to clear the area of any hazardous materials and take those materials to a hazmat landfill.
Essentially removing hazardous waste from the ash piles, and that's like propane tanks, pressurized cylinders like welding gases. You might find some paint cans or things like that. A lot of the stuff you would normally expect to see around your own house.
So because of this extensive cleanup effort, it could be weeks before homeowners can start rebuilding there. Also a reminder this morning, starting tomorrow, campfires, portable stoves, and personal fires of any kind are prohibited in the Mount Hood National Forest. It is always a good idea to check fire restrictions before you head to any local campsite or before you travel anywhere outdoors.
In Idaho, the firefighter injured in last month's deadly ambush near Coeur d'Alene is now out of the hospital. Excuse me. This is video showing David Tisdall receiving cheers and giving a thumbs up as he was wheeled out. He was transferred to a facility in Colorado for further treatment after suffering a gunshot wound that collapsed his lung. 2 other firefighters were killed in this incident. The fire department says Tisdall still got a long way to go, but is optimistic that he'll make a full recovery.
As wildfire season heats up, Portland General Electric is dialing up efforts to reduce fire danger. So that includes tweaking the ways that their power lines work. Chris McGinnis takes a look at how power line safety could impact PGE customers.
It's called Enhanced Power Line Safety Settings, a set of tools PGE uses to help prevent its equipment from sparking a wildfire.
One of those tools that we have is what we call enhanced system settings, or where we increase the sensitivity of our power lines.
During fire season, PGE's protective devices detect even minor faults like contact from a branch or debris and shut off power more quickly.
That line will de-energize very quickly, and we will not restore power to that section of the line until our crews have gone out to actually inspect it to make sure it is actually safe.
On red flag days or other days when fire danger is high, automatic restoration is disabled. That can mean longer outages, but it's all in the name of safety.
When we have these really enhanced fire risk settings active on our power lines, that does mean that sometimes outages will last a little bit longer, because again, we need to make sure that that power line is safe before we turn the power back on, because the last thing we want to do is restore power on a power line that then introduces new risk.
PGE says these settings are now business as usual in high fire risk zones, and it will keep using them as long as fire danger remains.
Chris McGinnis, KGW News.
One more note to Chris's report there. PGE did tell us that total outage minutes in high-risk areas has actually remained pretty steady, even though the number of PGE customers in those areas has grown dramatically. All right, let's talk about what's coming up this weekend in downtown Hillsboro. Huge chalk art festival. Do not be afraid. That is not a real alien. That is just chalk art. 2 artists were out there early this morning, starting at 5 o'clock, and they're still putting the finishing touches on this piece for us. The alien surfing on a slice of pepperoni pizza. And we did confirm, Chris, that is pepperoni pizza out there in Hillsboro this morning. Big shout out and a thanks to Carrie and Razier. They are the artists today, but there are going to be a lot of artists out there this weekend. Saturday and Sunday, this event returns as a huge annual event, Big Chalk Art Festival in downtown Hillsboro, right there on Main Street, Hillsboro Civic Center Plaza. It's happening on Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. both days. Really a family-friendly event out there in Hillsboro.
I wonder if Eric could ask them the motivation for the alien surfing.
They did that last year.
Yeah, one of these 2 artists, Carrie, was out last year and she did another piece of art involving an alien. So maybe that's her thing. I will talk to Eric again and find out what's with all the aliens, Carrie.
What would the aliens say if we could ask he or she?
They'd probably ask, how hot is it going to be today, Chris McGinnis?
That's a good segue. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you asked. We've got a forecast that's for everyone on the on the Earth here. We'll start off with our Salem sky camera, which is clear over the central Willamette Valley this morning. And I wanted to point this out a few minutes ago, and now I can show it to you graphically. The warm orange and yellow colors on this map showing exactly what our banner says, the 24-hour temperature change, meaning we are 10 degrees warmer at PDX right now at 7:10 on this Wednesday morning as we were at 7:10 on Tuesday morning. You are going to notice that as soon as you step outside this morning. It is significantly warmer for most locations in the I-5 corridor and the Willamette Valley. The sun is up, it is out, it is 68 degrees now at PDX. I mentioned this before, the freezing level is even higher this morning than it was yesterday. 70 in Tigard, Wilsonville checking in with 72, and now just shy of 70 last check in Salem. Our heat advisory remains in effect for the I-5 corridor from basically the Canadian border all the way south of Eugene, whole Willamette Valley until 10 o'clock, portions of the Columbia River Gorge and the lower Columbia as well. For temperatures that I think will eventually wind up being our hottest day of the year so far. 96 was that number earlier this summer. I think we're going for a high of 98 with a general average of 95 to 100 degrees in the Willamette Valley today. So stay hydrated, limit your exertion during the heat of the day if you can, especially between about 1 and 6. All right, hour by hour, I've got Portland getting up to near 90 or just shy of it by noontime, and then into the 90s by the 1 o'clock hour. So sometime between noon and 1 is when we get to 90 degrees, and we obviously keep going from there. Pendleton gets to 90, Prineville 90, upper 90s in much of the Willamette Valley, 92 to 94. We'll do it in the Longview area before we realize some cooling. And it will cool off a bit tomorrow. Morning clouds, I think, and that will limit our heating tomorrow. So we keep a lid at maybe 89 tomorrow, 88 Friday, and then much cooler, more comfortable weather setting up shop here as we go into our weekend. Let's get you out the door with a look at the roads. We start off with a traffic alert in Oregon City now. Highway 213 northbound. It looks like there's a crash just shy of the I-205 interchange, and there is now starting to be a lineup on that northbound Highway 213 commute getting up into Oregon City proper. Once you get there on the freeway, that is, I-205 traffic is obviously a little slow, expected to be slow this time of the morning. We'll switch gears, take you over to the Sylvan Hill, Highway 26, again, climbing up into the bright sunshine there at Skyline Boulevard, so we've got some slowing there. And westbound 84 continues puttering along through the Gateway District. Right now, your drive-in from Troutdale is up to about 21 minutes. That's not bad, but it's getting slower. And the I-5 commute from Clark County, there you go. We're solidly 20 minutes now to get you in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. Guys?
All right, Chris, thank you for that.
You just got beat by a grandma. Bless your heart.
Coming up here in 2 minutes, we're talking about older Americans getting in on the action when it comes to playing video games. I remember my mom used to say, Tecmo Bowl is not going to get you a college degree, Drew. Well, Mom, I hope you're watching this morning because recent studies show that there can be benefits. Video games can actually be good for you. We'll have that story for you when Sunrise, streaming live at 7 o'clock, continues after this.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
All right, the headline for our next story here this morning, video games, not just for kids anymore.
When you think about video games, you probably think for younger folks, but the older generation, nearly half of baby boomers saying that they've recently picked up the hobby. NBC's Savannah Sellers reports on why they're sticking with it.
He's in the heli.
When it comes to video games,
Oh my God!
older Americans are showing they can hold their own with the kids.
I got him.
60-year-old Michelle Statham is a grandmother of 2 and also happens to have more than 3 million followers across platforms who tune in each day to watch her play the military combat game Call of Duty.
I see you.
Online, she's Tactical Grandma.
What is it that you love about video games?
I'm a competitive person. I grew up playing competitive soccer. So to me, when I play games like Call of Duty, I still get that competitive feel that I can't do physically anymore.
She's not alone. Nearly half of all baby boomers are getting in on the action, with mental stimulation as the top reason this generation says they've taken up the activity. Doctors say gaming for older Americans has benefits, allowing them to use the brain, stay engaged, and maintain cognition.
It helps your brain kind of keep firing those things that maybe you did when you worked. And if you're retired now, you may not be using those. And just if you play with people online, it's a fun way to connect with people as well.
Research shows puzzles, skill and chance, and arcade video games are the most popular with older players.
Do you feel that more and more older Americans are gaming?
I know that they are. And there's a lot of older females now that say that they started playing Call of Duty because they saw me play.
And they're doing it their way.
So I'll say, bless your heart. You know, you tried so hard. You just got beat by a grandma. Bless your heart.
Savannah Sellers, NBC News.
I feel like bless your heart is a favorite China Green expression.
Yeah.
Bless your heart.
Yeah, but I would say the same thing. I love playing Resident Evil. Have you guys ever played?
No.
My favorite type of game is it's called Resident Evil, and it's more of like a mystery. Like you find a key under a rock, and then that key eventually unlocks something, and then when you unlock something, it changes into a new.
This is a modern game that you played like currently.
I've heard of it.
My husband
Sure, of it,
Yeah,
right?
I've heard of it. You're playing it now.
My husband and I played it like a year ago, and we moved, so I can't find our stuff. But I love that game.
Just when you think you know somebody, you got video game
She's a
playing China
gamer.
Green. Before you get to the top story of the day, favorite video game as a kid? Can I put you on the spot? I'll tell you, mine was Tecmo Bowl.
I'm going to go with Metroid.
Okay, Metroid, Tecmo Bowl, and Resident Evil.
Yeah.
We are your Sunrise crew. This is your Sunrise forecast.
We are gamers. All right, we're gamers. All right, I'm game for your forecast. Let's go ahead and show you this. It is, it's sunny, duh. It's warm, duh. It's warmer than it was yesterday. 68 last check at PDX, freezing level higher than it was yesterday. So the air above us is also warmer. It's 69 in Sherwood right now, 69 in Salem, and 63 last check in Eugene. Okay, so our heat advisory remains in effect until 10 o'clock today for basically the I-5 corridor from the Canadian border south of Eugene, including the Portland-Vancouver metro area, the central and western Columbia River Gorge, the upper Hood River Valley, and also portions of the Columbia, lower Columbia in Columbia, and portions of Cowlitz County. Again, this is through 10 o'clock. So heat risk today for sure. High temperatures 95 to 100 degrees. Just do what you can to limit your exposure during the heat of the day. As we ratchet up the temperatures through the day, we'll be 80 by 10 o'clock. We'll be 86 to 88 by noontime. And then probably in the noon hour, so between noon and 1 o'clock, Portland gets up to about 90 degrees, and obviously we continue going from there. On our way to our hottest day of the year. 96 was the previous hottest, not a record, but 98 is our forecast today with temperatures throughout the Willamette Valley. 100 is reachable for some backyard thermometers today. In the gorge, Columbia River Gorge, the east breeze will be pretty noticeable from Cascade Locks west towards Corbett. Of little consolation because it's going to be like a hairdryer in the face with temperatures in the mid-90s, right? Taking to the beach, we've got some fog right now at Lincoln City where it's cool. It's 48 degrees and you will escape the intense heat there, but it'll be a warm day at the beach with highs in the mid-70s for you folks. Switching gears to our Chehalem tasting room camera in Sherwood, the sun has gotten out of frame here. Mount Hood sort of hazed out in the background. There is at least the potential for some wildfire haze to work its way into portions of the Willamette Valley today. Salem's forecast high 99, so hotter than yesterday. I-5 corridor in Washington, hotter than yesterday. 94 in Longview, 98's the forecast in Vancouver as it is here in Portland. Again, just do what you can to limit your exposure to that heat today. And also, check on your pets. Don't walk them during the heat of the day on that hot asphalt. That burns their paws, so don't do that. Don't do that to Bumblebee. Bumblebee is today's dog of the day. If you want to get a shout out to your favorite four-legged friend, email us at dogoftheday@kgw.com. All right, Futurecast shows lots of sunshine across the region today. Note the cloud cover encroaching at the beach tonight, and early tomorrow morning we get a little bit of a marine push, which will probably produce some clouds here in Portland. And with that being said, as long as we get that cloud cover, that takes some of the sun's energy to get rid of it. And so that will, instead of heating us, it'll just get rid of the cloud cover. So we'll be cooler tomorrow. With that cooler push, though, does come the increased risk of higher fire danger, and that is of obviously high concern for ongoing wildfires east of the Cascades. Check this out. With Futurecast today, we'll feel the breeze out of the northwest later this afternoon. East side of the state will really feel that breeze pick up tomorrow, and we will all cool down a bit. We go from 98 today to 89 tomorrow to 88 on Friday, and back into some more comfortable stuff for the upcoming weekend. Okay, let's get you out the door with a look at the roads, and we pick it up with that trouble spot in Oregon City, northbound Highway 213 near Holcomb Boulevard. It looks like there's a crash there that's got one lane blocked. You see that yellow line on Highway 213 indicating some slowing there northbound. Obviously, the drive through Clackamas County and I-205 southbound is a little heavy as well. Normal for this hour of a Wednesday morning commute. The Sylvan Hill getting even slower there. About 15, 20 miles an hour climbing the hill from 217 up to Sylvan. Westbound I-84 slow, obviously, through the Gateway District as well. Here's a quick look at your drive times. None of these are way out of whack. Right now, 23 minutes gets you in from Wilsonville, and the trip from Clark County, slow and steady from SR 500. Right now, we're still looking at about 20 minutes. Guys, this is unchanged in the last couple of reports here from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. We'll be right back.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have an extended look this morning at dash cam footage that shows Travis Decker just days before he allegedly killed his 3 daughters in central Washington. This is video that was tucked away in police files until now. Chris Ingalls with our sister station in Seattle has the story.
1941.
It's the most routine of calls. A fender bender on the street just outside a Safeway store in Chelan County.
35-1941.
Responding Wenatchee police officer Timothy Jeffress walks up to 2 men. In days, one of them will become the most wanted fugitive in the country. That's Travis Decker in the white T-shirt, just after his truck rammed this Ford Mustang at a stoplight. The police report says Decker was cited for no insurance and following too closely.
Last of Decker, first of Travis.
The officer's dash cam recorded this encounter 3 days before Decker picked up his daughters, Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia, from his ex-wife's home, and police say killed them at a campsite outside Leavenworth. In the manhunt that followed, investigators released photos and this Ring doorbell video of the 39-year-old Decker. But this video, at 19 minutes 41 seconds long, is more revealing. The man whose car Decker hit declined an on-camera interview, but he described Decker as nervous and fidgety. He kept telling me please not to call police. The man said he was sympathetic, but had to report the crash, and Decker looked almost intimidating to me, although it was more a vibe than anything Decker said. In the video, we see Decker with his arms crossed looking almost bored. Then he walks over and leans against his truck. Later, he sits on the bumper and then rests his head on the truck bed like he's exhausted. But it was the conversation with the crash victim that was the most unusual. I could tell he was not in his full senses, the man said, describing Decker's odd questions and answers and his body language. Decker complained, "I'm going to jail," and the man couldn't seem to convince him that he wouldn't be jailed over a minor traffic accident. In the days after the girl's disappearance in early June, we reported on court records revealing Decker's mental health issues, that he was homeless and living out of his truck. This was one of 2 car crashes that may have been more evidence that the former Army Ranger was spiraling out of control. King 5 obtained this brief police report from his first car accident on May 4th, in which the caller was rear-ended by a truck continued on. With a license plate number, police determined the hit-and-run driver was Travis Decker. The victim in that accident declined an on-camera interview, but said he did not pursue charges because his white Honda CR-V was not damaged. He said he did not know Decker was the runaway driver until we called. 3 weeks after that hit and run, the dashcam video of the next crash ends with Decker extending his hand in what would become an uncomfortable 9-second-long handshake, with Decker asking the man if he'll be okay and holding a firm grip.
Again, that was Chris Ingalls reporting for us this morning. We're going to have more coverage on the search for Travis Decker coming up in our next half hour, including new details about the latest Decker sightings in Idaho, or reported sightings. We're actually going to hear from a hiker who was mistakenly identified as the alleged killer. We'll also have more on this morning's top story, what could be the hottest day of the year so far in Portland. Team coverage, including the latest on the forecast from Chris McGinnis, all ahead at 7:30.
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We are coming up on 7:29 on our Wednesday morning drive. Let's take it to Oregon City. We've got a traffic alert right now on Highway 213 northbound. A crash just north of Holcomb Boulevard. It looks like the backup around that has flushed out a little bit, but just be on the lookout for the emergency response there. Hopping over to the Sylvan Hill, Highway 26, slow and steady, says it on that inbound Sunset Drive, which is now up to 23 minutes from Hillsborough to downtown. And the westbound I-84 commute a little slow coming in from the Gateway District, of course. There's a live look at I-5 up near SR 500. That's probably our slowest stretch of freeway right now. We are averaging 23 minutes now to get you in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge on a bright, sunny, and eventually hot Wednesday. The live look over downtown Portland shows not a cloud in the sky. It's 68 last check at PDX. Heat advisory remains in effect until 10 o'clock today. For our hottest temperatures of the year. Our valley temperatures anywhere between 95 and 100 degrees. Our forecast here in Portland, again, about 98 we think this afternoon. So take care in the heat of the day, especially. The good news is we get some relief as we go into Thursday and Friday with cooler temperatures and eventually a really nice weekend ahead.
Here on the Willamette, go out and ride jet skis and, just honestly to stay out of the sun.
Our top story of the morning, high heat expected in our area today. Meteorologist Chris McGinnis says he's expecting highs in 98 area in Portland. Good morning and thank you for joining us for a special weather impact edition of Sunrise at 7:30. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. We actually have team coverage of this story this morning. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz, there he is, live in downtown with the latest on the cooling shelters. He is burning up out there a little bit this morning. We've kept Thomas outside for the past 3 hours. Chris McGinnis right now joins us, though, with the latest look at the forecast.
Yeah, so China said 98-ish. Yeah, that's our range. 95 to 100 degrees this afternoon is the forecast. We are bright, we are sunny, we are warmer this morning than we were yesterday at this time. It's 68 degrees at the airport, so a whole 8 to 10 degrees warmer on average across the metro area right now than we were 24 hours ago. The freezing level is a little higher this morning than it was yesterday as well. And why that's significant is that indicates that the air above us, the air mass, is a little warmer than it was yesterday at this time. So high confidence in high 90s in our forecast this afternoon. Heat advisory in effect until 10 for, again, the heat stress that working outside in temperatures like this can cause. 98 degrees is my forecast. You need to do what you can to limit your exposure to that heat and obviously take frequent breaks if you're out there working. Thomas has more on county preparations for the heat. Thomas?
Yeah, good morning, Chris. And look, it's starting to get hot up here, and some counties are starting to open some cooling centers. That's not happening in Multnomah County. They're doing some other things, though. I want to talk about the people who are more vulnerable to this heat. That's people who are seniors, children, people who may have disabilities, women who are pregnant, and maybe the biggest group of people here, people who don't have air conditioning. Now, the Oregon Department of Emergency Management says that people need to be aware of this, and not only that, take precautions during heat like this. They say at times when heat lasts for days, sometimes people aren't as cautious as they should be.
You get above 90 to 95 degrees, and especially as you hit into that 100-degree mark, it becomes very dangerous very quickly. Even right now, as it's starting to warm up, we would really be encouraging individuals to be taking action to find places to cool off.
Management is also warning people to be cognizant of heat-related illnesses. If you're sweating heavily, feel weak, dizzy, nauseous, that might be symptoms of heat exhaustion. If so, you're going to want to move to a cool place and drink some water. If you become confused, lose consciousness, or have a high body temperature, that's a sign of heat stroke. If something like that happens, you want to start contacting 911. Once again, coming back live out here, it's starting to cook up here down in downtown Portland. So look, guys, we're prepared. Whoa. High and to the left there.
Whoa.
We got our sunscreen with us, Drew. We got our hats with us. And look, this isn't just for show, all right? You're gonna want these things no matter where you go. You're gonna want these brim going.
Yeah.
We're gonna get little sunscreen. You're gonna need it, guys. I don't know about you. Living through these Portland winters, it changes you, all right? You gotta lather up around here, guys. So make sure you get out of the studio, you get this sunscreen on immediately.
I mean, I did say earlier that you were burning up, quote unquote, burning up out there. The fact of the matter is it is only 68 degrees in Portland right now. So it is crazy, though, that it'll go from 68 to perhaps 98 over the course of the next several hours.
I think what's crazier is that Thomas Schultz just has, as we still see him on air right now, just has a cowboy hat on deck for these types of days.
Tall hat time.
Guys, look. You're going to need these whenever you got them. You're going to have to kick them out. And Drew, as you mentioned, right? Only 68 degrees right now. I got to tell you, with the sun beaming down on us as it is right now, it already does feel hotter than that.
Okay, fair enough, Thomas. I'll take your word for it. Thomas Schultz live in downtown.
Bless his heart. Hey, don't forget to take extra care of your pets during this hot weather. The Oregon Humane Society says pets should be kept indoors as much as possible. Give them plenty of water and avoid taking them on walks on hot pavements that can, burn the paws. You should also watch out for signs of heat stress like heavy panting or drooling. And of course, never leave pets in parked cars. Excuse me. All right, your time now is 7:34. Earlier this month, the federal authorities in Idaho received tips about Travis Decker, the father accused of killing his 3 daughters near Leavenworth, Washington.
But after an investigation, they found out that the guy who was spotted was actually just a camper spending the holiday weekend in the forest. Reporter Don Nelson spoke to the man mistaken for the murder suspect.
If I can hold this up, can I I'm going to hold this up next to you. Now that right there is Travis Decker, a suspect in the murder of his 3 daughters over in central Washington. There was 2 sightings of somebody who looked like him up in the Sawtooth National Forest, 2 separate parties, 2 separate days, same description. Turns out that was you.
Yep.
Using only his first name, Nick says he and a friend went to enjoy the 4th of July weekend in the backcountry. After spending Friday night in the woods, his friend left on Saturday, and Nick decided to hike a bit further near Bear Creek in the Sawtooth National Forest.
So I took this fateful trip on my own up the Bear Creek Trail, and here we are.
The first person who reported seeing a man who looked like Travis Decker said, "You didn't make eye contact with them."
You had sunglasses on, so there's no way in the world she would have known if you made eye contact with her, right?
Yeah, I think that's fair to assume.
Nick spent Saturday night in a different location, came home on Sunday. Idaho News 6 spent all day on Monday speaking with officials about the search for a man matching Travis Decker's description. Keep in mind, Nick was already at work on Monday morning in Boise. He really wasn't aware of the search until a friend said something.
Everything seemed normal until my friend that was up there with me sent me a text that said something like, "Bro, there's a manhunt. There's a killer that was in the campground with us." And he sent me a news article, and it described, and it had that photo, and it described a sighting, and this manhunt sparked off out of our campsite when we were there. Your instinct isn't to think that was me. So my first thought was, oh my God, we spent the night next to a murderer. That is frightening.
Nick called authorities, who in return called him back and asked if they could talk to him at work on Wednesday.
And we took up the conference room, and they friendly interrogated me for about half an hour. And it described me like the hair, the beard, the hat, the glasses, my earrings, tattoos, my shirt. The shorts were a different color. My shoes, the backpack, the location, the time. I was like, oh my God, they think I was that guy.
Nick wants to make it clear the people who called the tip line did the right thing.
In my opinion, I don't really look like the guy. Granted, they saw me from a distance, but just be careful because this has been a little bit tumultuous for me and people around me and disruptive at work. But I would encourage people to do that.
Fair warning, Nick plans to head back up to the hills this weekend, but he will be with his father the whole time.
A $20,000 reward is still being offered for information that leads to finding Travis Decker.
All right, quick update on budget airline Avelo. It's actually shutting down all of its West Coast operations now, and that includes operations in Salem, Redmond, Eugene, and Medford. The final flight in Salem is scheduled for August 10th. Avelo says that it plans to operate only on the East Coast moving forward, where it sees, quote, significantly more opportunity. Big artistic opportunities this weekend in Hillsboro. How about this? Chalk artists were out early this morning for us, starting at 5 a.m., and they put together this piece of art, the alien surfing on the pepperoni pizza slice. I found out some information about this from our artist right there. There's Carrie. Good morning, Carrie. Great job this morning. She is not alone out there in Hillsboro. She's joined by Razier. All right, I'm going to get this right. Razier and Carrie, 2 artists in downtown Hillsboro on this Wednesday morning, getting us ready for a big event this weekend in Hillsboro, the Chalk Art Festival that will take over the streets in the center of downtown. They said that Doug is the name of the alien they created this morning, and Doug is on a mission. His job is intergalactic pizza delivery. We need more of that in our world, so we appreciate Doug for bringing us intergalactic pizza
when we
delivery.
start colonizing Mars, we're going to need the ability to deliver pizza, right?
Sure.
Like, yeah.
For sure, Chris. What do you got for us weather-wise?
I was just trying to have some fun here.
I was just trying to remember.
couldn't compute
it's okay.
that.
No, you're good. You're good.
What a
over
world.
here and do my day job. It's the only thing I'm good at. All right, let's go ahead and I'm going to start off with this, a 24-hour temperature change. You are going to notice this the second you step outside this morning. It is 10 degrees warmer right now than it was yesterday at this time at PDX. Some sites, like up along Highway 26, in the Highway 26 corridor heading up to Mount Hood and Government Camp, are 15 to 18 degrees warmer now than 24 hours ago. So the air even higher up is even warmer. The air mass is warmer. All of that points to a day in the upper 90s at least for the Portland, Vancouver metro area in the Willamette Valley. It's 68 degrees last check, actually 70 at PDX now. Downtown 66, 73 in Tigard, and as we slide down to the South, Salem right now checking in with 69, Kaiser at 67. Hour by hour, our modeling has temperatures at lunchtime getting up to about 87, which means in the noon hour is when we crest that 90-degree mark and we continue warming from there all the way up to about 97 or 98 degrees. Futurecast has 96. I've got us at 98, upper 90s in Salem. Again, the hottest day of the year, we think, on tap for us here in the Portland, Vancouver metro area. Some backyard thermometers may very well hit 100 degrees. So the need, obviously, to stay hydrated and limit your exertion during the heat of the day. Try to get shade if you have to work outside today. It's just super, super hot for today. Not a record, but hot enough. And then we cool it down. We've got some cloud cover and a good marine push that comes in early tomorrow morning, and so that will take some of the sting out of the air mass tomorrow, and more so on Friday and into the weekend. And before you know it, and I'll let you know this too, there are no signs of excessively hot weather beyond today in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So we get a nice little break after today. All right, here's a quick check of the traffic right now. Earlier trouble in Oregon City cleared on Highway 213 northbound. Happy to tell you that. We also had a disabled vehicle on the Banfield. Looks like that's out of the way. Westbound 84, though, is still pretty slow. This is through the Gateway District, so this is I-205 above, I-84 down below, and again, that's puttering along at about 15 miles an hour. Back down, that's not where I wanted to go. Yeah, that's what I wanted to show you. That earlier crash in Oregon City is out of here. Highway 26 inbound, slow and go, cresting the Sylvan Hill, and that drive now is our latest trouble spot, or slow-ish, getting slower, about 26 minutes to get you in from Hillsborough to downtown. And last but not least, up into Clark County. 205 is not in bad shape, but the I-5 drive is slow and steady. 24 minutes now gets you in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. China.
Thank you, Chris. Welcome on Sunrise. Portlanders stoked, bringing the heat back to the Portland Fire. We'll see reaction from the Rose City as Portland's new WNBA team looks to bring the fire back to the city. Sunrise streaming live at 7 continues after this.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
I am so excited for Portland to have a team and have another go at this because I know it is going to be great.
Oh yeah, big news yesterday on Sunrise was Portland's new WNBA team officially getting its name. It is the Portland Fire.
KGW's Catherine Cook went to the team's launch party yesterday and talked to excited fans about the Fire's return to the city.
Outside Moda Center, fans put up with the heat to embrace the Portland Fire.
Portland! Portland! Portland!
Portland's new WNBA franchise made it official Tuesday, revealing their team name and logo. See what they did there with the rose and the flames?
I really like it.
The Fire is the same team name Portland went with 25 years ago during its first and short-lived run in the league. That's a bummer for some folks.
They kind of just were lazy about the name, if I'm honest. I thought it was an opportunity to be really fun, and that's fine.
I know he has opinions on it, but I like it. I really like the logo. I think it's really cool.
Were there other options? Sure.
I would have done Portland Swifts, but I think I'm going to embrace it.
Speaking of embracing it.
Yeah, 2002.
Erin Sloan wasted no time dusting off her throwback merch. She's waited 25 years for the Fire's return.
It's like the Portland Fire. I was in like 5th and 6th grade when I went to all the games. I'm so excited. I was like bawling in my car when I found out that we were getting a team back.
We're going to bring the city a championship ring. That much I do know.
As fans warm up to the Fire's name,
I kind of like it, but I don't know how I feel about it yet.
The littlest embers can't wait.
I like that they're women and I'm a woman.
To see them in action. Catherine Cook, KGW News.
All right, from the Fire, we are talking about today's heat, right? And before we get back to Chris McGinnis and today's hot forecast, we're specifically talking here about some of the ways that the heat can affect you.
Yeah, that's right. So yesterday, Drew and I told you about how the heat can affect your emotions, but did you know it can also impact your appetite? And experts say there are scientific reasons behind that.
It actually has to do with the thermic effect of food. So we're not as hungry in the heat because our bodies don't want to get overheated.
That makes sense. That means if you are already hot, you might not want more food, which generates heat. But even if you are not hungry, dietitians say it's important to have a balanced diet with nutrient-dense foods like fresh fruits and veggies.
Even focusing on hydrating foods can be very helpful, like watermelon and lettuce and celery and cucumbers, cherries and citrus fruits and strawberries. So all of those foods can be very hydrating, in addition to, of course, increasing your fluid intake.
Experts say dehydration can slow down your digestion, so make sure to drink plenty of water.
Who volunteers for those close-up shots of me eating whatever I'm eating?
I was going to say, it's a good story when you got that close-up, slow-motion shot of someone eating a vegetable. People do sometimes, right? Rightfully so. They use a hot day like today is going to be as an excuse to not do any cooking. I mean, it's like a break from perhaps doing the cooking because your kitchen will heat up, that quick when you've got that oven going.
Salads, right? That's why we all eat salads in the summer. Well, there you go.
Easy.
Now we know why. Our body's telling us I don't want to work that hard to digest that heavy steak and potatoes meal. All right, let's get you out the door with this. And to the serious point about the heat advisory remains in effect until 10 p.m. today for all of the areas shaded in this peach-orange shade. There you go. Have some peaches with it. From the Canadian border down to Eugene, through the I-5 corridor of the Willamette Valley, portions of the Columbia River Gorge, the Upper Hood River Valley, and out through the Columbia for Columbia and portions of Cowlitz County as well. So the heat impact is for high temperatures forecast between 95 and 100 degrees this afternoon. Limit your exposure, limit the work that you do outside during the real heat of the day. And if you are out there, just take frequent breaks and monitor yourself for signs of heat stress. We are warmer, as we've been talking about, than we were yesterday at this time. 10 to 15 degrees warmer than yesterday morning. So we're on a springboard towards warmer temperatures. PDX is reporting 68. I actually saw 70 in one observation, but the point is we're warmer. The air aloft, the freezing level is higher, so the air aloft is warmer than it was yesterday. 73 right now in Tigard, Wilsonville checking in with 74, and Dallas at last report 77 in Dallas. The big perspective across the state, 60 in Pendleton, John Day, Baker City in the upper 50s, and Bend this morning in Central Oregon at 63. Gorge forecast, a little breezy for the west end of the gorge, specifically Cascade Locks towards Corbett. You'll feel that east wind pick it up a bit. It's of little solace. It'll feel like a hairdryer in the face with temperatures in the mid-90s out towards the Dalles this afternoon. Interesting, over the last couple of frames of our visible satellite imagery, you can see the low clouds and fog along the coast, southern coast, and a bit of the marine layer, which is peeling away. If you've been watching us over the last hour, well, for starters, thank you. And here, as we look at the Chinook Winds Casino Resort camera in Lincoln City, earlier this was completely fogged over. That marine layer and the low cloudiness is beginning to peel away from the coast as expected. So we're going and trending towards that mostly sunny forecast today. Pacific City gets to about 76 later today. The Chehalem Tasting Room camera in Sherwood, the sun getting hazed out a little bit. Mount Hood's off in the distance. There is at least the chance that some wildfire haze and smoke, high-level smoke from those fires in Central Oregon could make its way over the Cascades. So that would be more prevalent from McMinnville and Salem and Point South. Still not enough to impact the temperatures. A hot day for you and hotter today than yesterday. Longview, we think you get to about 94, 98 here in Portland. Futurecast, again, not showing much going on today. We will get that marine push, though, overnight tonight. It's really cool to watch that evolve with the clouds working their way through the mouth of the Columbia River. We'll wake up to some of that tomorrow morning. With that marine push, though, as that gets to the east side of the state, that does increase the fire danger over into portions of central and eastern Oregon. We'll watch the winds pick up a little bit here today, west side of the state, and then the east side of the state where it is very, very dry. That's not a good situation with the west wind ratcheting up for them. 98 this afternoon, 89 tomorrow, 88 Friday. We go down the ladder, and I'll tell you this, as I looked at our extended models, which go out now 16 days, there's no sign of any high heat in the forecast beyond today. So if you're done with it, we're done with it, at least temporarily. Let's get you out the door with a look at the roads, and we start off with the traffic map, which picks it up on the west side. This is out near Cedar Hills Boulevard, Highway 26 inbound there. That's a little bit slow. Right now you're tripping from Hillsboro about 26 minutes. I-5 from Wilsonville, that has jumped up now in the last little bit. We're now looking at about a 35-minute commute to get you in from Wilsonville Road to downtown. And your Clark County commutes, both of them are a little slow. Here's the I-5 drive at SR 500. I-205 getting down towards the Mill Plain area, bunching up a little bit. Not as bad as yesterday, but that is on my radar. That we're now looking at about 20 minutes to get you in from Padden Parkway south to Interstate 84. Drew?
All right, thank you, Chris. Still to come here on the Sunrise Show, we're talking inflation on the rise. Again, we're going to hear why consumer experts say this might just be the start of the latest surge in prices. Sunrise, streaming live here at 7 o'clock, will continue in 2 minutes.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Welcome back to Sunrise. Analysts say recent tariffs by the Trump administration are starting to have an impact on inflation.
And now the feds are working to drive down inflation after it rose 0.3% month over month in June. NBC's Alice Barr brings us the details from Washington, D.C.
In a new snapshot of the U.S. economy, inflation picked up a notch in June, raising questions about the impact of President Trump's tariffs, beginning to slowly work their way through the economy, concerns he downplayed.
Very slight. Essentially, they were exactly as anticipated.
very low inflation. So what you should do is lower the rate. The Fed should lower the rate immediately.
The president ramping up his pressure on Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell to lower interest rates, decreasing the cost of borrowing money. Though any sign of rising prices will complicate the Fed's next moves as it works to drive inflation down below 2%.
What is important here is that the rate of change, how quickly prices are changing, is increasing.
The new report showing consumer prices rose 2.7% in June, 0.3% higher than in May, a slight reversal from the overall downward trend this year. In tariff-targeted sectors, the price of appliances, toys, furniture, and bedding all rose, while the cost of a new vehicle dropped.
What we're realizing is that it takes a lot longer for tariffs to sort of work their way through the economy, and we may still see, again, inflation continue to rise.
President Trump rejects that idea, adamant tariffs are bringing in big money and pointing to new investments in the U.S., including in energy and AI, rolling out more news Tuesday in Pennsylvania.
More than $56 billion in new energy infrastructure and more than $36 billion in new data center projects.
President Trump betting big on his vision for the economy. Experts are warning about a new term, sneakflation, where companies find subtle ways to pass on their increased costs without changing the list price. Tactics like lowering the quality of the product, shortening return windows, and ending free shipping. All things to watch out for. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
KGW News at Sunrise continues live at 8 o'clock on KGW Plus with the latest on today's KGW weather impact alert. Team coverage on the way with meteorologist Chris McGinnis and Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz.
Yeah, Chris is also going to take a look at the work that PGE is doing to reduce wildfire risk. Those stories just 2 minutes away.
The KGW Plus